Victory to love, the love inside your heart. Victory to the light that shines in your mind.
Namaste. Hi yogi friends and astrologer friends. Welcome to the Shaman and the Mermaid, and this is your astrological forecast for August 11th, which is the Aquarius full moon, all the way through September 10th, the Pisces full moon. So we'll give you the monthly download here and we'll kick it off with our mantra,
which is lightning strikes. Just simple, nothing really to have deep thought about. It's more of a foreboding or foretelling of what's to come. Lightning's going to strike, and we say that yes, we're in monsoon season, so it's raining, and we've been seeing some really beautiful electrical storms, at least here in Denver we have, and but it's also metaphorical in that Uranus, crazy Uncle Uranus, is a strong player in this next month's cycle, and his energy is all about electricity, lightning, that sudden, radical, transformative energy. And so we're just simply saying lightning strikes, and then you take it with what you want to do with it. And my estimation of things, lightning is power, and it's, yes, fierce and seemingly dangerous, but it has power to it, the electricity in it that can transform radically energy and from one thing to another. And so when lightning strikes, what do you want to do with it? Do you want to harness the energy and create radical change in your life? Because change is also inevitable. It's coming, revolution, evolution, it's all part of the cycle of life. And I think there's been a need for some shake-up lately. And by lately, I mean in the last 100 years of our existence at least, we've gotten very fixed and very stagnant and very stuck in old paradigms and old ways of thinking and old structures. And these older systems and older belief systems that we've been fixed in have kept us from that evolution and growth and change that is part of the natural cycle of life. So enter Uranus, or Uranus as Michael says, or Uranus, and this energy this next month is going to be the throwing of these lightning bolts at us, and it's going to say, wake up. And you know, I feel like a lot of it is let these lightning bolts hit and strike some of our stubborn pride that we're very indignant with, and stand the grounded. Uranus is currently in the sign of Taurus. It was in the last talk, if you remember, we said it was with the north node of the moon, still is, and it was with Mars, and that was this energy saying, take charge and go. Take this lightning, take the power of that Mars energy, the warrior, take the north node of the moon where your soul wants to go in destiny, and take charge and go. Well, now this time, Mars will be moving out into Gemini. North node's still there, so it's still, where does your soul want to go? Uranus is still in that sign of the bull, so it has a lot of that charging power to it. But as it kicks off on August 11th, it's going to be squaring the sun and the moon. The sun will be in the sign of Leo, so fiery. Sun is home in Leo, so it's extra exalted. It's feeling very empowered. And then the moon is conjunct with Saturn in the sign of Aquarius. As Michael mentioned, Uranus is typically, that's its home sign. So here's the moon and Saturn saying, like, nanny, nanny, boo-boo, we're in your house. And sun's on the other side, squaring off both ends. And you could also think of the sun and the moon as the yin and the yang of things, or the masculine and the feminine of things. And it's squaring at this radical transformation. Squaring means challenges. Squaring means dissonance and perhaps disharmony in a way. And it's a radical shake up and shift up. So lightning's going to strike. What do you want to do with it? And I would suggest strongly that you harness it to use it for revelation, revolution, and evolution. That all kicks us off with that Aquarius full moon, August 11th. And then we'll cruise on to some of the other big aspects. Uranus will keep coming up. Mercury, which is also a lightning energy, also has a lot of showtime in this month's astrology report as well. Want to go to the next one?
On August 14th, we will see Mars trining Pluto, and the Sun will exactly be in opposition to Saturn, but we mentioned that's basically happening on the full moon. So Mars trine Pluto is a supportive aspect to this evolutionary, revolutionary energy. Mars represents our personal consciousness awareness on the masculine side, what we desire, what we want, what we go after into the world. And Pluto is what the soul desires. Trine is they're coming together like a pyramid. Pluto's the base and Mars is the top. So our personal self can be aware of the soul self, and both desires align with that electrical Uranus energy, and we can see some change and shift in a positive way when we harness that flowing energy. That's basically what I see on that one.
We were talking about, when we're making our theme, we could say when lightning strikes, it's either shocking or Shakti, and that's another way to look at it, but sometimes it's not just that either or, so we just left it as when lightning strikes ... But when these strikes hit, and as I said, it'll look like big transformation to some fixed energies that have been in our awareness for a long time. Banking system, educational structures, political structures, laws that we have in our own constitution are going to get these lightning strikes. And so when the lightning strikes, jockey yourself into a position so that the shock of it is not detrimental to your being. If anything, that coming in, you are in alignment, ready for it, as Michael said, to move and flow with it. If lightning strikes the banking systems, what does that mean for you? If lightning strikes the education system, what does that do to you, etc.? And there's a lot more than just education, finance that will have these radical shifts, but anything that's been in a constant fixed state for over 100 years, it's time for it to change. And we've had banking systems that have been fixed for a lot longer than that. We've had educational programs fixed for a lot longer than that. I guess those are the two big ones that I see coming first. But that's not to say it stops there, for sure. So when I say jockey yourself into position, be prepared that if the house of cards comes tumbling down with these lightning strikes, that you aren't dependent upon them for your well-being, that you have other ways to navigate and the new terrain that we'll be coming into. There's a lot of talk with cryptocurrency. Some of these radical lightning strikes literally can bring burn to our earth. We've seen it. We've had fires summer after summer after summer. Our earth is crumbling. She is not well and healthy. So what to do? Where do we go when the lightning is striking us metaphorically or literally? And how can we bring the change that is being forced upon us because we've been fixed to be for the good of the whole? The quote of Gandhi, be the change you wish to see in the world. I guess that's what I mean by jockey yourself into position. Be the shining example for the rest of us of a way to go. Buckminster Fuller, the great scientist, said that if you want to change a problem, you don't fix the existing reality of it. You create a whole new model. So that's where we're at. This radical change that we need right now is a whole new model of what we've been doing. And so The lightning of Uranus is also much like your imagination. They're in the same energetic field. Let your imagination really percolate right now. Give it space in your day to soar. We often feel like that's lollygagging or a poor use of time. Well, that's a fixed belief of the old ways. Somebody who's in la la land all the time is a worthless and needs to get off their duff and get to work. Well, we need some new ideas. So go ahead and lollygag a little bit and take some dream time and create some ideas for us, because the model that we've been using is breaking, and we need to create the next existing. So some of the Uranus aspects we'll just highlight. You want to cruise through them?
The next Uranus aspect will be on August 16th, when Mercury and Uranus will come into a trine. Mercury's in Virgo, Uranus is in Taurus, and they're supportive earth signs of each other. This can be really helpful. Mercury is what to do with things, how to put it into action, what practical things to take, and Uranus is that lightning inspiration, what we didn't know before suddenly illuminated, and then Mercury says, okay, let's put it into place and start to make it real. The next big Uranus aspect will be on August 24th, which is when Uranus will go retrograde. And this is pretty significant for lots of reasons. This will be the 8th planet to be going into retrograde at this time during the summer. So we have Pluto, we have Saturn, we have Neptune, now we have Uranus, we have Jupiter, we have Chiron, we have Eris, and then soon after Uranus will then be Mercury. So it'll be 8 or 9 planets will be going into retrograde. This is pretty significant. It's a big time to go back and review these fixed systems and come up with new ways. And the Uranus retrograde will be on the same day that Venus trines Chiron. So it's a balance of looking at the wounds around masculine and feminine, yin and yang, around the patriarchal and matriarchal energies in the field. Did you want to say anything about the Uranus retrograde energy?
Well, just, retrogrades in general, since there are so many, I feel like it's a way to slow things down a little for us so that we can work with this, so that getting ourselves into position to better manage these lightning strikes or to let our ideas come to fruition. It's kind of a gift from the cosmos to allow for it. I know retrograde can kind of sound like things are going to be complicated or dissonant. Sure, the potential is there for that, but I rather look at them as a reset time for us to really recalibrate or recalculate some of the things we want to work on.
The other thing I'll say about this Uranus retrograde is all throughout 2021 and 2022, the planets Uranus and Saturn have been in a square. It's a 2-year process. So Saturn went retrograde about a month ago, and Uranus is now stepping in behind, and it's closing that square back into a 0.5 degree of each other. So it's reactivating that heat. And Katrina's talked about this theme. Saturn represents, in this case, the old structure, things that are fixed, things that are rigid, things that are stuck, things that have been compressed, suppressed, depressed, all the words that are about holding something in place. And Uranus is the lightning bolt that says, kaboom, the energy is now free, liberated, letting go like some sort of reaction in space and time. And so this retrograde is closing that gap again on that pressure of the square and bringing that back in the field. And Uranus has the extra pupawi because it's sitting on the north node opposite of the south node. And so the shortest version of what that means is the evolutionary push for things to change is really focused on where Uranus is in the chart.
And then on August 26th, Michael's birthday. There's another big Uranus aspect, and that is squaring Venus, and the Sun on the same day will be squaring Mars. So 2 big squares with a lot of energy there. Sun is how we express ourselves outwardly, and Mars is the warrior, and so sometimes that could look conflictual. A lot of power in those 2 squaring off. And then Venus squaring Uranus to me, where I was saying before, Uranus activating some of these external structures and these fixed systems that need to be reinvented. Well, Venus squaring Uranus is more of our own personal structures within. So this day, as Michael gave the imagery of the lightning bolt coming down and exploding something that's been fixed and stuck, this is a time on this day for something internally, a belief system that you've been holding on to, perhaps stubbornly or fearfully, for, when we let go of something that's kept us afloat and we don't have another something there to replace it with, we don't want to be without anything. And so to let it go, we'd rather cling to something toxic for us than free ourselves from it into the unknown. And this is a day that says, find that bravery, that courage, and it's going to be in a square with Sun squaring Mars on the same day. That's like, I'm brave, no, don't. I'm brave, no, don't. And do, and do, and do, and do, because it's the cosmic soup. It's the alignment from the above that is saying, this is a really good time for you to let that old belief go, to let your stubborn pride, to let that fear, that belief system that you've been clinging to dissipate into the ether and begin anew. And even if you don't have your little buoy, your whoopee there with you to cling onto in the new beginnings, just step by step, as Lao Tzu says, a journey begins with a single step. Just be brave and take one step, and then the next, and the next, and the road will appear. Because it's the way. This is the Tao, and it's unfolding as it should. And we have to let go of these old systems. So just as the collective is going through radical change, so are each of us as individuals, breaking down some old things that just no longer serve. So it's challenging, it's difficult, lightning can be scary. We like it when we're in the safety behind the glass of the window in our home or in our car, but when we're out in the middle of the field surrounded by trees, it can be a little daunting. Just know it's coming and put yourself in a place where that you feel comfortable, but don't be afraid of it. Use it, harness it, access it. There's lots of other little aspects throughout the rest of the week, including the Virgo New Moon we'll mention on August 27th, the day after that big square. And then return to you September 10th.
I did want to mention Mercury Retrograde. People usually like to hear about that.
Yeah, right. Oh my gosh, that's a big one. I forgot.
That's okay. There's the Virgo New Moon on August 27th, and then Mercury goes retrograde on September 9th, which is just the day before the full moon of Pisces. I mention that because this is the third of 4 retrogrades this year. There's 4 in 2022. For Mercury. And it's retrograde from September 9th all the way to October 1st. It's going to start in Libra and go back to Virgo. And it's going to be doing some activation of that Uranus, but with a trine. And so during the retrograde, Mercury's going to go back and trine Uranus 2 more times. And so this can be supportive. It's a positive shift of the mind as new paradigms come in, new concepts, new things. To me, the retrograde Mercury is giving us space so that we can integrate it in a way that's not traumatic or crisis-laden. Like we can use the mind in a positive, a little more slow, evolutionary way without being like, ah!
Mind blown.
Mind blown.
Well, and that makes me think with the trine of Mercury and Uranus that it's a way to get new thinking stimulated. They're both air signs, so they're both the thinking mind signs. And there's a statistic that we learned that the mind is capable of approximately 80,000 thoughts a day. And of those 80,000 thoughts that we think in a day, about 80% of them are the same thoughts that we've had the day before and the day before and the day before. So we're on this looping spin of stagnant, unchanging thinking. And so these trines are allowing us to change that statistic so that we have new thoughts, new energy, new innovations, new inventions, new revelations coming in This is time for epiphanies, awakenings. So mind blown in a positive way. All right.
That was it.
That was it. Okay, that was a good one. Can't forget little Mercury Retrograde. That's a big one. Okay, so until we see you on the Pisces full moon, September 10th, be well, take care, watch for the lightning.
Namaste.
Victory to love, the love inside your heart. Victory to the light that shines in your mind. Earth, sky and stars, 10,000 suns shine within us all. Give praise to the one. Victory to love, the love inside your heart. Victory to the light